Back to true colors. So yeah.
Red filter. Danger.
So yeah, now we have to escape out of this mine shaft. Yeah. But anyway,
I was playing Stray right now.
I don't think. Yeah, me too. But anyway, I don't remember. Okay, I looked through the parts. Oh, and by the way, Dibs, I want to address something that you said in the previous part. In between parts, I've rewatched that scene from Batman Begins, and guess what? I was right. He lands on the ground where there's a lot of dirt, and it's just like there's a lot of dirt. Like it doesn't actually fall on hard ground. So it's more believable than this, I will argue.
You know, we could joke that he fell on Backwater given all the abundance of bats there.
But anyway, with that Batman Begins cliffhanger solved, yeah, remember, basically there's a shit ton of, again, emotions, and again, much like what I said in Beyond Two Souls, I'm still a bit iffy on this concept of objects having memories. I don't know.
I mean, tons of games.
I guess.
That, or at the very least, sensing this stuff off of it. That said, I'm guessing there's an abundance of anger to make the place look like hell.
So yeah, now we're actually hearing the thoughts of the people who died here that Jed couldn't save.
Damn it! Everyone, let's go now!
Okay, so we tried to get them out. What went wrong?
Smells like fire.
You've already abandoned them, the bastards.
Very good, Libs. You're on a roll.
Again, I kind of called that earlier too. When you get
He
down
pulled
to
a long live the king.
Remember,
I'll admit I did get a bit curious and checked TV tropes after we did the last part. So
okay.
I can't claim the credit
That's
for that
cheating.
one.
Ah, okay.
Alright.
Fuck,
Well,
fuck,
he didn't
fuck
pretend that.
fuck yeah, Jim. At least I didn't pretend I didn't.
No, that's fine. I'm not saying anything.
I wonder if you might be referencing a certain famous cheater at the moment, Dibs.
What?
Oh, well, remember that necklace? That was the necklace that they had back in that flashback. So yeah, turns out the father came to live here at Haven Springs and became a miner, and he died in that incident 12 years ago.
So did Jed like adopt the two kids out of guilt or something?
Hey guys.
I mean, you could say that.
Hey guys, the truth about 12 years ago. Life is Strange True Colors. The last part. Wishes are eternal? So yeah, like Dibs read on TV tropes, yeah, it turns out Jed is not the hero people think he is. And yeah, her father died in this incident.
So, and he died saying he was sorry, but
So what happened? Did they?
like,
They
yeah,
died,
it's
that's what
confusing. Like,
Basically, there was an
I gotta-
accident, Shiroi, and Jed, I guess, saved himself without saving anybody or some shit like that. Go on.
I just wonder if there was a cave-in or were there like toxins when they were working or something. Like, I don't know.
Like, wasn't the deal that essentially, remember that, if I recall correctly, the story was that Jed apparently rescued a few of the members, but I guess it turns out he left some to die for some reason.
I love how she's not even feeling dizzy or anything. Like, seriously, like,
I mean, she's stumbling around.
she's stumbling, but I still think she still should look worse than this.
Oh, here we go. Jed Lucan, who at this location...
Yeah, a little... And she throws it to the ground. But, yeah, good job.
Priorities.
Like, I do agree physically she should look worse, absolutely, but she definitely looks out of it mentally. Like,
She's not
the lights are on,
Supergirl or
no one is
anything.
home. Like,
But you say that, Shiroi, but she's about to have a big debate and duel of words against Jed.
And during my time,
Well, I assume that this takes place after...
No, it's right. No, it's right after. She now goes back to the city and immediately goes to this place. So basically, right now they're having a town meeting thing.
Who greets every
Does
customer.
nobody wonder where Alex is?
Apparently
It's a
not.
spring festival tradition going back 100 years.
I mean, it's only been a night, so they probably think,
Jeff
oh, you know,
Bridges?
young kid, probably out, you know.
Pride.
Fair enough.
These values.
And
I mean,
look,
I'm assuming it's been a night.
Yeah, it has,
Look at
yes.
that, and look at that.
Okay,
Every
cool.
important character is here too.
Partnership has been so successful.
And yeah, Steph.
okay.
Notice how
I guess
Steph
to be
seems
fair-
like she's worried. So keep that in mind for when Alex comes in, because I find that this
trust
moment to be hilarious, actually.
Tremendously
I was actually
She's
about
gonna
to say,
come
I
through the
guess-
door covered in blood.
Yes. Oh, now it's Shira who's doing it.
Diane, I think I speak for all of us when I say we're eager to make this official.
But yeah, let me actually mention something about Jed, because I don't think I've mentioned it in commentary. I think. Oh, actually, never mind. I guess I'll wait till this is over.
Surprise!
I lived, bitch.
What's wrong, Jed? You look like you've seen a ghost.
Alright, Shuri.
Is no one gonna... Albert? There we go, Steph. And yeah,
So they only just noticed.
and that's the thing, Shira.
You're reading my mind.
And here's the thing, Shira. Only Steph and Ryan come to see like how she is. Like the others, like obviously Jed won't because you know he's the bad guy. But you think Eleanor and Charlotte would?
Don't worry.
Like they don't even like it's like Serena Cucumber also pointed this out in his review, and it's just like yeah, it feels like all of the people except Jed should come to her, considering how we've been forming relationships with them. You know.
Do you need help? We can call.
Oh, there you go, Diane. Like
Assigned to all of you. And so has Jed Lucan.
He was in on it from the get-go.
What's going on?
You are a horrible liar.
You shot me!
yeah, but I have no idea how I managed to survive that, but you did.
Well, okay,
saw
like
a
Shuri
typhoon
said,
hiding
maybe
for
she was
12 years.
grazed, but yeah, the whole being shot and
Jed
falling
Lucan is a
was,
hero.
It's because
Jesus, a
it's
lot
most.
of luck.
Let me put it this way. So Serena Cucumber phrased it best in his review.
The accident.
She got shot in the face, fell through a mine shaft, hit multiple wood boards on the way, and she basically walks it off.
There were pictures of me.
I
and
guess the
Gabe
power
down
of
there in the
hate and
dirt.
adrenaline brought her
Because
here.
one of those miners was my father.
So now it's conveniently personal.
So there you go, Shira. Basically, this is actually the part where all the choices come into play, kind of. Where if you formed relationships with the people of Haven, they'll get on your side. If you haven't, then they won't take your side.
And let me guess, if they don't take your side, then you have to provide even more evidence.
No, if you don't take your side, the same outcome happens, and I'll
So they
explain
decided
better when
to
we
bury
actually
the
see it.
evidence.
I'm not kidding. Like I can tell you that the choice consequence aspect of this game is very weak.
That's how
Let
Gabe
me
was
guess,
killed.
it's more so about somebody who doesn't agree folds their arms
No.
in
The truth about the
disagreement.
past
No,
and Gabe-
I'll answer you in a few minutes.
When I found out,
Fair enough.
as you can see, he tried to kill me too.
I love Jed's look of disappointing parent that he just gave. Like,
God damn it, Alice, you
Why
were
aren't any
supposed
of
to
you saying
die.
well, Alex, keep in mind they've only known you for like a month or however long it's been, whereas they've known Jed for decades at this point. Obviously, they're not exactly going to believe you
Didn't
just by your
ask
words.
You bitch.
The things
Yeah, that too. But
obligated.
obviously, Alex, they're not gonna believe you just by your words. Obviously, I mean,
These accusations are, well, they're insane. And
Spoken like a
trying to go
true
into the
corporate
mine was
executive.
Obviously,
But
a very
sadly, we
dangerous,
do need
very
proof.
illegal thing to do.
This is illegal,
But
you
we
know.
all sympathize with your situation. You've been through so much. Your brother was your only family, wasn't he? I can only imagine how much you want an explanation.
Okay, now
for his
she's
loss.
being...
Something
Oh,
to
yeah.
give comfort and
which is something that I'm not.
seem less unfair.
I'm still mixed on because yes, I'm not saying Diane is necessarily a good person, but at the same time, it feels like they're having her be a bitch here just for the sake of her being an opponent in this scene.
Hey, here's the thing. Remember when Diane had that fear around her? Granted, I guess
Which is
maybe
why
it's
you
fear of
and
getting
Jed
caught,
tried to
but
threaten
I
me
thought
into
Diane was
silence.
just like an employee of Typhon, like...
She is an employee of Typhon. That's her function,
You
Joe.
have any
idea what Alex
Weird.
is
The way
talking
they're
about?
writing, it's like she's the boss of Typhon. Like,
No,
why
no,
is she
no,
all of a
no,
sudden
no.
act-
I said this before. To be fair, she's only an employee. For all we know, she had nothing to do with what happened. She was just obeying orders.
Father figure to
Okay, in that case, maybe that's why she's acting like that.
All
You
I
know,
can
it's
guess
part of
is
the company handbook on.
Yeah.
stuff.
Most likely, yeah.
people we lash out at are the ones who were trying to help.
I was just trying to help you reconnect with your dad.
Yeah, by joining him in death.
Kill me. How can you stand there and say these things?
Alex,
You're
Well,
a
it's
monster.
simple, Alex. I open my mouth and I use my voice.
But how do we prove it?
That's the problem, Jova. We don't. You'd think this would be kind of like
Trust him.
a Leighton or his attorney type situation where we have to present some kind of argument, at least not necessarily evidence, but at the very least some kind of argument. But that's the thing. It doesn't matter what choices you pick in this scene. It doesn't matter what you've done throughout the game. Alex will win this battle automatically via cutscene, so it doesn't matter.
I'm Malcolm X. No, I'm Malcolm X.
There you go. Basically, Shiro, if you don't remove her anger like I did, she will come in your defense because you helped her grieve and all that shit. But if you remove her anger, she's broken and therefore can't stand up for you. Basically.
Okay, that's actually an interesting change.
Yeah, that's the thing, Jove. As you're about to see, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
Charlotte, please.
Anyone else want to go?
I would like to speak.
Denied, sit down.
Now, I'm not entirely certain if it's possible to get Ducky on our side, especially as he's explaining now. He's known Jed for decades. I never actually tried it myself, but
The only time I remember us having a moment with him was during the LARP, essentially.
yeah, I think there might be something that I missed, maybe. But at the same time,
I think I get what you meant about it feeling like the best ending is the one where everyone supports you. Like, it's not the game saying it, but I assume it's the one that makes you feel the most good about
I mean,
yourself.
my argument would be, Jova, having all the stuff we've done with the townspeople pay off, and here should supposedly be your reward, right?
Everyone here
I mean-
thinks you're a bad person. You know our mind can play tricks on us.
Ow.
None of it is your fault.
Bless Eleanor. She means
So
well.
hard to admit you need help.
I'm wondering, does the person you did not pick as your love interest have trouble believing you?
Steph will always believe you regardless, if I remember correctly.
Worried about you.
Whereas, okay. To be fair to Ryan, I can understand because remember, Ryan is Jed's son. So obviously, if someone you've only known for a month accuses your dad of being a murderer, obviously it's going to be very hard for you to believe that person over your father. That's perfectly reasonable.
Have a USB stick.
And there you go. See, if you remove Pike's fear, he will talk about, I have a USB full of evidence, Diane. So fuck you.
None of us have time for conspiracies.
Again, like I said, I understand Ryan's position. Jed is his father, so
Yeah. Shoot, I hate to admit it, I kind of forgot Jed was Ryan's father.
That's the thing. The fact that their father and son doesn't really come up in the story, so it's not like it matters.
And now to you.
Except for this scene, of course. But aside from this one moment, it doesn't really come up, so it doesn't matter.
Issue with me?
Like hell I do.
Also, lady, you do realize that you being very openly defensive here just proves that you blackmailed the authorities. Like,
Oh, let me guess. No matter what happens, we're about to get a climax, essentially, that will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Jed is evil.
Believe me.
bar fight.
I wish there was a
Or
proper
Jed
clown.
pulls out a gun and tries to silence Alex forever!
I wish it would be better than what we have, in my opinion.
Really? Like, I would
Well, in my
just thought
opinion,
of an
keep in mind.
He's not a murderer.
Again, I understand his position. I mean,
Yeah.
even if he likes Alex, she's only known her for a month or something. Obviously, he's not going to take her over his father's side because he's known, it's his father, for fuck's sake.
In this together.
And not to mention, look at this from his perspective. From his perspective, this came out of nowhere.
Yes,
so I understand his position.
I'm not
Perfectly understandable.
Ryan.
I don't know if you know, but I wonder
he's
if,
your
like,
dad,
if
but-
you choose as a love interest.
Look, Steph, like you yourself said, he's his dad. Of course. I mean, did you really expect him to side over Alex? I mean, come on, Steph. Let's be reasonable here.
True.
Fuck you, Ryan.
Everything?
Steph, I love you, but that's a rare miss for you right there.
Eh?
So basically, Jova, regardless of how many people support you against Jed, Alex now uses her powers to manipulate Jed's emotions and force him to confess.
Wait. She can do that?
She can do that now.
So
Because
what's she gonna do? Like, put fear into him or literal mind control?
she's
Bring the fear of God into him.
yeah, basically. Again, this is another thing in common with the Life is Strange 1. Remember in Life is Strange 1, that game also pulled the whole, oh, I can travel back in time to where this picture was taken thing. I've talked about it in the first game, and I'll talk about it here. Again, Deck 9, you cannot just pull a power out of your ass like this, just willy-nilly.
To be fair, weren't Deck 9 the ones behind this game, actually?
Yeah, that's what I said, Deck 9. Didn't I say Deck 9?
You said Life is Strange 1, though. Deck 9...
Well, yeah, but
worked on
the point. But they're taking from the first game, and that's definitely something from the first game that they shouldn't have taken.
Okay. I just assume you were talking...
Well, regardless, this is a problem. This is a problem regardless of what game or story it is. The point is, this power comes out of nowhere, and it's just here to save the situation so that the player can win. Which, again, couldn't you at the very least make it so that I have to earn my good ending? Come on, guys, really?
Okay. She's reflecting on how her father was in that regard. Here, I think I can pretty much describe the same thing about this part as I can with the rest of the game. This is pretty good. Wait, that's it?
It's
Like,
because
yeah, it's nice that her dad may have had some good qualities, but we only know so much about the guy. Like, he ran off, went to be a minor, and like, again, I ask, does it turn out that Jed adopted the kids out of guilt, essentially? Because
No.
otherwise, that is some massive coincidence that they just happened to move to the city where their dad was.
Mm-hmm.
Which explains why we got the flashbacks all of a sudden, so that could set up us finding the dad's necklace that had the pictures of them in it.
It feels like they were a bit too hasty and just trying way too hard to wrap up everything in a neat little bow. Basically.
Again, just to sum it up, it's good stuff, but there's so little. And not even like, there's so little good stuff. I mean, like, it feels cut short, like we have hypothesized that it really does feel at this point like content was legit cut. And we do know that they would have had difficulties during the pandemic, so it's a possibility. We don't know for sure, but
this is the thing. Like, so basically, it doesn't matter how much I help people throughout the game. It doesn't matter what choices I have. Alex will just pull this power out of nowhere and instantly force Jet to confess. Which, again, like I said, this is supposed to be a video game, so the choices that I make should be the primary source of interactivity. Can't you at least have a bad ending where Alex gets thrown off the town or something like that? I mean, at least make it so that I actually have to earn this,
Also,
because like, this might as well have been a movie. The interactivity part of this interactive game is so little. You know what I mean? Like.
Also, I'll also add, I would have at least found this more interesting if this had been a back and forth between her and Jed mentally, kind of like an ace attorney.
Exactly.
Like, he presents an argument and you have to go against it, but no, it's literally
just standing
Alex. It's literally just Alex talking down to the man because, well, she can do this. And the thing is, she's handling this so expertly that I have to ask, Alex, did you know that you could do this?
Yeah.
If you knew that you could do this,
If you can do this, then why did you do this before?
Use it when
exactly.
he was about to shoot you.
Exactly. Like.
That would have been a nice option.
I mean, to be fair, it was really sudden, blam, gun to face.
Well, okay, but there were other parts in the game where I think this would have been useful, though. aside from that one.
Especially the interrogation, well, the police interview sequence where,
Yeah.
you know, instead of leaving the emotions or taking them away, don't take them away, just like manipulate them a little bit so that he's less afraid to help, but there's still a little bit of fear there.
This is actually kind of what I was hoping she would have done with the cop rather than blatantly take away his fear. But also, Dribs, one thing to keep in mind, as far as we know, sequences like these happen in like split-second moments. Like, it seems like it's taking a while in here, but in the real world, it's like a few seconds, essentially, before it passes. Again, as far as we know.
Another thing that I'd like
Even
to...
still,
Go on.
if Alex knew she could do this does go back to my original point that, Alice, you could have found the killer just by sensing for his emotions, because no, I refuse to believe that it was only around the time he was about to shoot Alex that he felt sad. Now, granted, they do try to justify it by Alex claiming that he has convinced himself that he's a hero, and I guess that's why he rarely feels guilt, supposedly, but I don't know. I feel like with Alex's power set, she should have been able to find out who the culprit was with, again, her powers alone.
Another thing that...
She
Sorry.
technically does.
Another thing about Jed as a villain, I don't think I've said it in commentary, is that they didn't do a good job, in my opinion, making him an interesting villain. Not particularly, because most of the stuff involving his past comes through only at this last fifth of the game. And even before that, he wasn't a particularly interesting character to me. So when he betrays us at the end of episode 4, I didn't feel betrayed or heartbroken. I just went, oh. Like, that's the other thing. If they had made Jed a more interesting character, this also would have made this things have more impact.
Question: does like anything change based off of the answers you chose for
No.
Alex to say?
No, it does not. It ends always the exact same way. She manipulates them and he breaks down in tears like this. And that's the problem
He
I...
broke down in clear. Well, he broke down in tears. That's a clear admission of guilt.
Yeah, that's the main problem I have with this ending. I didn't have to earn it.
That's really it.
That's
Let
it.
it out.
I was partially joking there.
Oh, look, now it's Jova who's doing the I was joking thing. Like, this is great.
And
like,
we cut to
Wait, we don't
Alex.
even get to hear what he has to say about it?
you know
Like,
what?
shoot, like, does Diane also get taken away too? Okay, let's hear the news.
I was joking. Jova 2024.
Scandal.
Scandal.
But let me just finish real quick. That's the thing. I don't find Jed an interesting villain, not particularly. He's better than Mark Jefferson, don't get me wrong. But to talk about that ending again, I will give the first Life is Strange credit. At least I actually had to earn my saving of Kate from committing suicide. Whereas in here, I never feel like I've earned anything in this game. This thing might as well have been a movie with considering how there's so little player input into how things go. Go on.
Now, to make a comparison, one of the complaints of the Ace Attorney movie is that they do have to force essentially 3 cases. Technically 4, but that's like practically an alternate version.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like they merge 3 cases into the plot, and yet in spite of that, Turnabout Goodbyes still feels like it gets better treatment than this whole plot twist stuff does in this final chapter. Because God damn. Again, it's good stuff that they show, but it's all squeezed together in this like a congested dung pile overall. Like, seriously. Oh, wait. So we need to set up the fact that the father was a minor, but wait, we don't
I mentioned this.
about the father.
We at Taffer Mining would like to express our gratitude towards Evan Spence for your continued support, and then they block these disabled replies on social media.
Okay, that's actually poignant, so...
Also,
Kudos
what
there.
about the son? What does he have to say about the fact that his father tried to kill her?
That's the thing. That's the thing, Shirai. Unless you're going for the Ryan ship, Ryan disappears for the rest, and we never actually hear from.
But that's his father, though.
I don't know what to tell you, Shirai. He disappears. What do you want me to do?
Don't just do nothing.
Look, I didn't write the bloody game. Like,
Well, all right, we need to write a what if or a fix it fanfic, maybe. I don't know.
We need a how Life is Strange True Colors should have ended video.
Let me guess. The only alteration in these endings is based off of whether or not you chose Steph or Ryan as a lover.
Ladies and gentlemen, Shira is shooting the messenger. But anyway.
So was I right?
I'm sorry, I was kind of... could you please repeat?
Let me guess. The only differences between the endings is who you end up with.
Yes.
And whether or not you leave
Basically.
the village.
Basically, yeah. That's basically
So
it.
that's a total of 4 different endings.
I'm so sorry I worried you.
It feels so weak, though.
No, I get what you mean.
And trust me, I feel unclean as I say this, but I have to give Detroit Become Human credit. That game was very dynamic in how things end, depending on your choices throughout the game. For as terrible as that game is, it did have a good choice and consequence. At least I felt like I had a say in how things went in that game.
That's the thing about Detroit Become Human. It is paradoxically both David Cage's worst, but arguably also his best game.
Yeah.
Like, it's his best in the sense of actually giving you variation, aside from maybe Heavy Rain. But, damn, the story overall is arguably his worst.
Oh, yeah.
It's trying to tackle.
It's whereas this game, again, it's nice, it's cozy. I get that, but again, this is, me and Joe have talked about this before. Again, going back to that quote from...
Messages from Ryan.
Yeah, my dad was a hero. That's what everyone said for years, and it took so many lies to hold that up. Discussing terrible lies. There you go, sure. This is all you get. A text from him. That's all you get.
Oof,
It's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing.
I mean, it's actually true to real life. People just apologize through the internet or text rather than anything else.
I get that, but Ryan was a major. Yeah, I get that, but Ryan was a major character in the game. I feel like he deserves to be, have a big scene of him dealing with this. I mean,
hell, let's not forget Mac dropped off from the plot despite his. Important nature. Like, sure, we hear that off screen he's apparently made up with Riley and is helping at the flower shop, but we ain't seen him since chapter 2. But look, it's one thing when that happened with Mac, but Ryan, one of the main trio of the game, okay, let me put it like this. This is like if you play Kingdom Hearts and suddenly Donald just goes missing around, say, the final part of the game. Doesn't make any sense, but they did it.
It's like the fact that the story is so short and lacking in meat also helps that main trio, because I never really got the feel of that this main trio was such a cohesive, tight unit. Not really, because again, we get so little time spent. There you go, there's Mac. That's all you get from Mac. Just a text. Hey Chen, didn't think you'd actually take down Typhon. You're braver than I ever imagined. Now you owe me a new job. I'm glad you're okay, really. Thanks, Mac.
So we actually did take down Typhon. It's like they gave their final post, and I guess that was the end of the company.
Also, I forgot what I was going to say now. Never mind.
Was it in regards to the characters?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Joa. I feel like the only one that really you get any kind of connection with is the person you choose for the shipping route.
Yeah, basically.
Yikes. Which, it's weird. Because like I said, the interactions are good, but...
There's so little of it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the best way to...
Like I said, this game has a skeleton of a good story in it, but where's the meat in said skeleton?
It's so paradoxical. It is a game and story that, by all means, is good, but you constantly do wish that there was more.
And don't get me, it's kind of, I kind of compare it to something like, and don't get me wrong, this is still a much better game in my opinion. Something like the storytelling of Sonic Forces, right? Where there's a skeleton of a good story in there, but the cutscenes go by so quickly, and there's so little development of anything that happens, and so many things happen off screen that the story has no bite to it, no weight to it.
I mean, look, I'm probably the biggest fan of Sonic Forces on the group, and no, I will admit to that game's very evident flaws in that regard. Which, You know, that's the sad thing. The best game in the Life is Strange franchise is, I'd say, sort of on the level of Sonic Forces. It's good. Yes, it fits the technical definition of good. But, like Pedro said, it's painfully fine in the sense that, congrats, you made it. But you could have done so much more.
It's like I said a few parts ago. Congratulations, Life is Strange. You finally have a game that's not a complete embarrassment. The problem is, when compared to other games, it's still not very good.
Oh, is that Diane speaking?
Yeah, we get so let me get this straight, Deck9. Diane gets an audio log apology, but you don't even give an audio log thing for Ryan, who's one of the main characters?
It truly boggles the mind.
I figured an apology from Ryan via audio would be a better... Like, if you can only pick one person to have an audio log here, it probably would be Ryan. He's more important than Diane for the story, in my opinion. I mean, I just don't really get the decisions here.
I hate... It's my turn now to hate to have to do this, but to give Life is Strange 2 credit... Do not make a mistake. That story was terrible, and I did not care. But, at the very least, the endings were... The endings had... I don't even want to say a good sense of variation, since a lot of it did rely to minuscule differences, but there was... Well, for one, there were more endings... And their variations were a lot more noticeable in that regard.
Oh yeah, Life is Strange 2 has plenty of meat to its bones. The problem is that it's disgusting, rotten meat. So...
Yeah, it's like, hey, here's a buffet of trash.
Of trash.
So I guess Alex now owns Jed's house and tavern?
Basically,
I assume time has passed because her scars look like they've been healing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, who becomes the new owner of the Black Lantern? Because the game never tells us who. I'm guessing maybe it's Ryan, but the game never explains that. So basically, turns out Steph said fuck it and she's gonna stick with us.
Okay. That is legit touching.
Origin to tell me that they wanted to be with me before. Yeah.
First time for everything. God, Steph looks so weird without a hat. Well, not weird, but so different without a hat on. I feel like this might be the first time we've seen her without a hat on, or something covering her head.
Mm-hmm.
You've
I mean, her thing is kind of part of her typical look. So yeah.
Like how Chloe's was the beanie in the first Life is Strange game.
You know where to find me.
And then she turns to the camera and says, "Hey, you ever heard of Arcadia Bay?"
Goodbye, slams door.
Yeah, I can imagine the advertising for this. From the makers of Cool Borders 3 comes this new game.
Alright.
Colors.
And here's the final scene where we once again talk to the ghost of Gabe, and we pick between our two main innings.
I mean, at least he's not talking to his dead corpse, unlike what we've been watching recently, Paige.
Wait, hold on. I thought we already decided that we were Sting. What other decision is there to make?
Well, no. What Steph meant is that she'll support us no matter what we choose. I think.
Boy, it must be pretty awkward if we choose to leave after she ripped up her tickets.
Excitement of the unknown.
It's like, why didn't you just tell me you were leaving? I ripped up my ticket, which costs a pretty penny for you, girl.
You should have let me make the decision first.
Come on. You're the know-it-all.
I thought it would be romantic, and it was.
It was, but it was also phenomenally stupid. So
your feelings moved before your brain.
So Ghost Bro here thinks we should stay in Haven.
I mean,
You finally have a
Again,
home,
I don't
a
really
job,
see any
people
reason
who actually
not
like you.
to stay. Like, it's not like she's
Why
gonna
would you
go
give that
keep
up?
looking for adoptive parents.
Yeah, my thing with this final choice is we don't really have. I mean, as far as the game tells us, Alex at this point had lived a crappy life. So what reason would she even have not to stay here? That she's in a place with people that like her. She has a home and a job, like Gabe just said. Like, to be honest, I don't really see why would she risk leaving. To be honest with you.
Do you think it's time to give
God
this
help
music
me, I
video
have
a
to
shot?
compliment Life is Strange 1 and 2, but
Oh,
at the very least, when it came to those final decisions,
Stop it.
I
dude.
could get the weight behind them.
I
Life
don't
is
need
Strange
the
1,
mysterious
Max had been
spirit bullshit
practically
right
trained
now.
to worship the ground coal he walked
just
on,
need-
so of course it would be a tough choice between the love of her life or Arcadia
just need my
Bay.
big brother.
Life is Strange 2, the boys are to decide if they want to finally escape the evil, corrupt America for much better life down in Mexico, for sure. Look, as stupid as that was, I do at least get the weight behind it. Here, it's like, dude, just stay.
Just-
Bad guys taken care of. You took down the evil corporation that watch over the city. Like, what reason do you not have to stay?
And neither is Steph.
Supposedly, the idea would be that she and Steph would go on tour. Because they want to, because they're musicians. I guess, but the musician part of their character barely came up throughout the game, so I don't really feel the weight of that, honestly.
And what's like, the argument with Ryan even?
I haven't. I will have to go back and watch. I always go for the Steph ship because I prefer her, so I don't really know much about how things are with Ryan, honestly. And to be honest, I don't particularly care much.
And then they became
Okay.
wives and lived happily ever after.
Well,
You know,
I
the sad thing
I
about
guess I'll
this
take
is-
what I can get.
The sad thing is that this is probably the happiest ending of any of these Life is Strange games.
And
Like,
that's the thing, Shiro. Like like I said, I enjoy these two as a couple, but even them, even their romance felt like it could have been way more fleshed out. It's fine, but at the same time,
Less like a
that
museum.
even the romance itself also feels like it could have used more meat.
and of course, Alex, got together well with Charlotte and Ethan.
And I guess Ethan
Nice.
got over Gabe's death, which makes that scene at the end of the LARP a bit pointless, but whatever.
Thoughts of Jed.
And yes,
Typhon.
Jed and Typhon were disgraced
Mm-hmm.
and
Begin to fade into
replaced.
the background.
Well, do you have to take out the moose
Wait,
too?
yeah, I was about to ask, why did you take away that and the
Because
guns?
everything reminds them of him.
I guess.
I wonder if this implies that.
Hey, Mac.
Oh, hey, Mac, you're back.
How you doing?
Oh, but Riley still got with another guy. Sorry, dude.
If I remember correctly, if you make the choice to hide the truth from Riley at the beginning of the game, they end up together or something like that. But again, I don't really like that option, so nah.
I rolled
Oh,
a 20.
Tabletop RPG.
Yes.
20 usually.
Well, remember, this is Steph we're
I
talking
have
about.
so many D20s that look just like that.
Well, remember, this was Steph's thing in Before the Storm, so.
Staring
Wife her up.
longingly into each other's eyes. God, these two are. Oh, wait, is that a wedding ring on her finger?
Yeah, wife her up!
Oh, wow, I guess they did get married.
Week to a
Or at least
small,
engaged.
adoring group of fans.
That is adorable.
Yeah, it's on the left hand, right?
Every
Yeah.
time you play, you wonder what could have been. Performing for more people.
Like I said, it's cute, but I still think even the romance could have handled more meat. Could have had more meat to it, because it reaches the bare minimum to work for me. But at the same time, it's no. I'm in love with the villainess. I will say that.
Okay,
Exactly
it's
when it happens.
Oh my God, you watched that anime too?
Mm-hmm. It's really good. It's basically lesbian. It's lesbian Harry Potter, basically.
Yes. I think I can sum this up. Like, yes, what's there
And
is
the most
good,
extraordinary thing of all,
but who cares?
just how
No
normal
big
it is.
deal. I
Want
want
more.
more.
Yeah.
You don't question it.
Call me a Disney princess,
doubt
but
it.
that is legit
I
just the
wonder
main
what might have
issue.
been.
You're a
What there is
Disney
good,
princess.
but I want
The life you
more.
fought so hard to have.
More.
And for the first time, you just live.
Good speech.
Thank you.
Don't mention it.
No, seriously, thank you for the PowerPoints of what my future will
Of
be
course,
like.
You already have.
Also, Alex, you might. There's a third option. You might want to get back to therapy because you're hallucinating me, even though I'm dead. So that's probably not a good sign.
That
Oh,
doesn't
silly
mean
brother. This is how I keep you with me forever.
potential
It's
to do that
perfectly
anyway.
natural. Although it is weird that even my own hallucination is telling
What
me I need
exactly?
help.
Become an actual musician?
live in a van, travel between dingy bars, hawking your SoundCloud, pouring your soul to strangers. Sounds pretty great if you ask me.
So what, are we gonna see now the
The truth
outcome
is,
if she chooses
There's no
to
telling what
leave?
that version of your
This is a nice, again, much like a lot of the other stuff in this game. It's a nice conversation in a vacuum, but it doesn't really feel like the game has earned this.
What do you think?
I'm guessing you ultimately chose with the choice to stay, given
Yes.
the series of
To be honest, like I said, Jova, I don't really seek adventure or stay in Haven. I don't know. I honestly don't think this is a really a very hard choice to make. Staying in Haven is clearly the best option in my eyes.
I'll admit also, I found it weird that set of scenes we see is given to you regardless of which choice you pick. Like, if anything, I would have thought that showing all the bouts of what it's like if she stays in Haven would have been,
And guess what?
oh, if you choose to stay in Haven.
And guess what? Remember how it's abundantly clear that the developers the developers of Life is Strange 1 preferred the Sacrifice Chloe ending because they put a lot more effort into that one, right? Compared to the Sacrifice Arcadia Bay ending, right?
Yeah.
Kind of a similar thing here. It's abundantly clear that the developers also prefer if you pick the Stay in Haven ending, because that ending has more to it than the Seek Adventure ending. Because the Seek Adventure ending, if Serial Cucumber talked about it in his review, the Seek Adventure ending is basically just cuts to a scene of her in a concert playing guitar, and that's it.
You could just as easily infer she's doing another concert in the village.
It's like, so basically, it's abundantly clear that the developers also prefer the Stay in Haven ending.
You know, I always did find it ironic that the creators did prefer this Sacrifice Chloe ending, given how, well, Chloe was kind of like a creator's pet in that regard, but
And
I guess
so,
that was to build up the tragedy.
and so Alex moves on to bigger and grander adventures, selling out small concerts all over the country.
Well, actually, no, I didn't pick the Seek Adventure ending, so that can't be it.
Well, she might do it on like when she's bored or something. I don't know.
That is a very good overhead shot of the town.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Life is Strange True Colors.
Okay, I have to ask, did that actually manage to be shorter than Before the Storm somehow?
No, it's still longer than Before the Storm, but not by much.
And
Well,
reminder,
it's
Before the
bare
Storm...
minimum.
And again, wasn't Before the Storm only like 3 episodes long?
Yes, and yes, but those episodes were actually meatier than the episodes in this game, I will say that.
Damn. So, Before the Storm, which was arguably the cheapest made of these games, one might argue has more content.
That's sad. And there you go. Go ahead, Dwips. Final thoughts, please.
Actually, I really like the story. Actually,
Okay.
maybe it's because I've been so bitter, by the previous game that I like this one more by default. But I actually think it has its charm. And is it a bit short? Yeah. But I liked what I got out of it, at least. It's more than I can say for the much longer and much more painful previous game.
Oh, easily.
Easily.
I mean, if you gave me the option of would I rather just have my favorite thing cut off suddenly, or be testicularly tortured for 8 hours. Give me the first one any time.
Oh, sure.
You know.
Oh, sure, I understand.
I will ask you one question.
Because I enjoy the characters, I enjoy the environment more, I enjoy the story more, even if it is a little bit truncated.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the music more.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, I more or less agree with you, but I do ask, would you pay $60 for a game this short?
I mean, I didn't. I play on Game Pass.
Well,
it's hypothetical.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
If I had more than £600 to spend of petty cash, then yeah.
Again, like, I feel like that's the main reason this game gets that criticism, because $60 is always going to be a big ask. So
besides, I don't spend $60. I spend £50 anyway. So
well, yeah. Well, question, Web. Since
the idea, full price.
Well, oh, look, Caitlin Capes. Okay, there's another Caitlin here that made the game. Oh, and look at that. Riley apparently. Okay, so she graduated high school, and there's another. Okay.
I was also gonna ask: are these pictures that you can just see throughout the game, or are these showing like where are they now? I think I recall seeing a picture of Gabe and Charlotte too.
Yeah, I think it's more so pictures from that you can find in the town. I think I'm not entirely sure. Well, question.
You can play the trials and tribulations for you.
Let me ask you something, Dwebs. You've made it clear in the past that you value gameplay and interactivity in a game better than the story because it's a game. Considering the fact that this game has very, very little interactivity because the choices barely matter, and like to the point where, again, this might as well have been a movie. What do you think about that?
I mean, I enjoyed the story I got out of it at least.
Oh, sure.
It's not even like I can't think of an analogy right now, but I enjoyed the story enough that I can slightly forgive more the lack of gameplay compared to something like, well, again, the last couple of games.
Well,
sure,
because Before the Storm was impacted by some really hilarious, but yeah, because that wasn't the point, it kind of messed everything up.
Sure.
And the last game story was shit. So fuck it.
Sure. No, I understand.
You know what? I do see where you're coming from, and you know what? I can respect that. Like I said, I think the game is good, just that it is overpriced.
Personally, I still prefer Before the Storm's soundtrack. I feel like Daughter's music was the best one of this series to me. Chief Creative Officer Zach Garris, because he's the director of the game, and I think he's also one of the big figures of the studio in general. Deck 9, I mean. All right, does anything else?
No, not really. I enjoyed this game.
Okay, so Shiroi, what are your? Look, Production Babies. Talon, Eric, Dutcher. Well, okay. So Production Babies.
That's adorable.
All right, Shiroi. So what do you think
I'm guessing they're pets because I accidentally clicked off the video. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Well, that are actual babies, like, you know. People
okay.
Usually, people like to credit any newborns from that the crew might have had during making the game or something like that, basically.
I mean, when they say babies, sometimes it's like fur babies, so you know.
All right, go ahead, Shiroi. What do you think of this game?
Pretty much the same as Dwebs. I do enjoy this a lot more. I am again convinced that this is just like the reason there's no meat on this bone is because there was so much cut content, because I do not think it would be this bare bones on purpose. Like, I know I said that like a part ago, but since it's the final thoughts, I'm gonna repeat it. Like, I think stuff had to be cut because there's just no way. Because everything else is like pretty decent. It just needed more, and I'm I'm convinced there was more.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they had a better structure about how Alex's powers worked.
Mm-hmm. Like, would you say?
Because again, the
Sorry.
what happened in the final scene would have been very useful in the police interview scene, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It would have been a nice third option, because sometimes when you're given two options, sometimes there's an even better third option that you're not being given. So
Not only that, it would have actually worked as good foreshadowing for when Alex uses it on Jed, because from what I can recall, that power legit just comes out of nowhere, straight from left field.
Yeah, basically. I'm of the opinion, Shiroi, that because of how little changes based on the player's choices and how little of a role you have, and you're basically just going for the motions and you don't have to earn anything. Would you say that would you agree with me that you might as well be watching a playthrough on YouTube?
I hesitate to say that, because I like visual novels. So, like, having a single ending is kind of whatever to me. But
correct me if I'm wrong, but visual novels have alternate story routes depending on the player's choices.
they lead to the same end.
They lead to the same end.
Lead to the same end,
Well,
which is what happened here.
Well, they lead to the same end, but at least there's different story routes. There's not even different story routes in this game. It's just a linear, the same story with like bare minimum minor changes in dialogue here and there. So I'll argue it's even worse.
How much more of the game is there if you sign the affidavit or whatever it's called?
If you sign the affidavit, the only thing that changes is Pike will not support you in that ending bit at the bar.
So there's no like alternative.
No.
Like, oh wow, okay. Never
No,
mind.
there is not. Again, Shireen.
I thought that would at least deviate the path a little
Nope.
bit, because they'd have to get new evidence.
Nope.
And so there's not even like a whole new section.
In my first playthrough, Shiroi, I signed the affidavit because I thought
you didn't want to take the emotions.
I didn't want to take the emotion because I took away Charlotte's anger, and therefore okay, so I guess I did a baddie there. So I'll try not to repeat that error. So I've seen.
Okay, then in that case, I'll retract what I said.
Because in visual novels, there's actually a different story. Like there's different shipping routes and shit like that, right? In here, yes, there's two different shipping routes, but even then, it's not much. It's one of those things where it's just like you can basically. I'm not even kidding you, Shiroi. Like the main reason I bought this game was so I could record it, because I cannot speak for you, but me watching a Steph playthrough and a Ryan playthrough without commentary, because there's plenty of them on YouTube, right? I can choose, because people have done Ryan playthroughs, people have done 100% playthroughs. Honestly, I consider that a perfectly good replacement for actually playing the game, because gameplay-wise, there's so little reason for me to be here as a player. Like I said, let me put it this way, Shiroi. Again, I don't even have to compare to this novel. Life is Strange 1 made me actually have to earn saving Kate. And that's something that I'm about to... at least I actually, try to save someone. In here, I'm literally Alex literally wins the game against Jed through a Deus Ex Machina. It doesn't feel like you've earned this, and that's my issue with it.
I think a lot of the issue comes with, again, like, the plot, Alex's powers don't get as much fleshing out as we could from the get-go. Like, and granted, I'm not saying that all powers need to be known from the get-go. But when a random aspect of her powers that has literally never been shown before suddenly pops up to save the day, that's an ass ball.
Sorry, can I? Because this is
sorry,
my.
go on.
Thank you. There's, it's not a stretch to think that Alex can manipulate people's emotions, because she can outright take them away. So if they'd sprinkled in like hints of that beforehand, because any variation of her powers comes up in major events only. We needed to see that in the in-between stuff. That's as far as my opinion on the powers goes anyway, because I don't think there's like inherently anything wrong with this type of power as an idea. The execution was just kind of sloppy in this game, though.
Yeah, my problem is that...
Sorry. I do like our leads. I just, again, so many of my thoughts are going to be, I like this thing, but it needed more. So...
Amen to that.
Music was pretty good. These games are quite minimal on the music, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that.
See, for me,
yeah, because of the lack of meat on this story, the climax is very nothing.
It's like I've said, Shiro, regarding the whole power thing. Like my problem with the emotions that never at any point did it come up. Never at any point was it into that Alex could manipulate people's emotions. It feels like an ass pull on the writers just to make sure Alex wins. You know,
it feels very anticlimactic, I'd say.
Yeah,
as well.
like Jova said, we didn't even we could have had a really good Ace Attorney-esque duel of wits between Jet and us, you know, to make the player actually feel like he's earning this, you know. But nothing.
Like pull an Ace Attorney mixed with Persona 5, wherein you're fighting against the villain in his mind, but after you've broken through, he realizes what he did was wrong and breaks down and confesses in that regard.
We just had the breakdown, and then that was it. Like, we didn't even get to hear from his son outside of a text, which... No.
That's pretty weak.
Look, if we're talking Ace Attorney standards, this would be like if Phoenix just stares at Damon Gant during, like, the end of day one.
Says no, bam, you.
Yeah, pretty much. Refuses to elaborate, wins the case.
Confetti. The general vibe of the game is nice. Like, I like the environment that it's set in, you know, small town. It looks nice. The people seem nice. We needed more of that. Please, game, give me more.
Yes,
I think this could genuinely be the first really good, full-length Life is Strange game, but so much is just not here. And again, I don't think that was on purpose.
It really doesn't feel like it either. Like, it legit feels like they were leaving moments that were meant to be built off on, but never got fully completed.
Like, the pandemic must have hit them really hard, because we talked about the development time, like, for this.
Oh, yeah.
There was other stuff too, but they must have been hit, yeah?
About that, I've looked over the behind-the-scenes videos of this game. Zach said in an interview that they've started work on this game in 2017, so literally right after finishing Before the Storm.
So a few years before the pandemic.
So by the time that 2020 hit, they probably had the script on lock by that point.
Then they'd have to develop all the assets and everything. Maybe that took a hit.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe they were going to, like I said before, they were going to have younger versions of the model, like I said, but at the end, because of the pandemic, they couldn't do it.
I think one thing to take into consideration is how the planning may have gone. Like, I would have given them maybe, let's say, a year and a half to completely plan stuff out. Then they would have started, programming the game in 2019, which would mean that soon would come in 2020, which would definitely stop them from finalizing a lot of things and probably stop them from adding on more meat. Like, my guess is that in the 2019 year, they had the basic outline set. But 2020, which probably was going to be the main year of development, again, going off of my assumptions in that regard, based off of when development would have started versus also when they would have started directly programming the game. I feel like 2020 would be enough of a year that could have hit them hard enough that really threw a wrench into things. Like, they were able to finalize the game, but they weren't able to, beef it up like they had planned.
Yeah, basically.
But that's it, I think.
All right, go ahead, Jova.
Never have I played a game that I've liked yet hungered more for in the worst way possible since Crash Twinsanity. Because let me make
not even Sonic Forces. Maybe that feel that way.
Well, okay. To be fair, I feel it more for this even. Okay, to put things into perspective, Crash Twinsanity, good game, but when you know what was cut out, goddamn, do we want a full version of that game? I do long for a better, more complete version of Forces 2, but Twinsanity is the one I want the most. But then along comes this game, and let me make it clear. It is a good game, okay? The gameplay, the story, they're good. But is it worth $60 good?
Nope. I'm glad I only paid $35 for both this and the DLC episode, because I definitely would be kind of ticked if I
DLC episode.
Don't worry, we're doing it after this. But the point is, yeah, I do remember without waiting on a sale. In fact, let me see how much the deluxe edition, because you have to buy the deluxe edition if you want the DLC. Go on, keep going.
Oh my god. But yeah, no, honestly, I think $35 would have been at least a better ask. Like, sure, it still would have cost more than the previous games with their episodes compiled together, but to be fair, at least I feel like it would be just slightly enough more to justify the production costs.
Yeah,
again,
this
I'm
game.
not a mind reader.
This game gets on sale practically every major Steam and PlayStation sale, so it's relatively easy to get it at a lower price.
I wonder if part of that is to sort of quell the critiques about the price, because I do get the critiques of giving this
That
out
being
full
said,
price.
and to answer Jova's question, right now it's not on sale, so yeah, the standard edition that we just played through, $60 or $59.99 if you want to be exact. The deluxe edition, which comes with the DLC episode, Wavelengths, $69.33.
Ooh, that's practically 70.
And I can tell you that the Wavelengths episode is not I mean, it's fine. It's fine in terms of length, but it's not like it's super meaty or anything like that.
Okay.
As for the deluxe upgrade, because if you buy the standard edition, you can also get a deluxe upgrade, so you can buy the Wavelengths episode, which never mind. It doesn't have a price for it. Keep going. I'll see what I can find here.
Look, the overall point is, it's a good game. I won't take that away from it. It's good. But it needed more. Like, let's ignore the price point. Even if I got this game for $20, well, okay, it would feel worth $20, but I still would be wondering, wait a minute, shouldn't the story bit be here? Or wait, shouldn't there be more story here or there? Because it legit just feel like content was cut that was supposed to fill in some of the blanks. Like, now, we have enough of a story where you could make a bridge from point A to point B that will hold up well enough. But it's like comparing a rickety bridge to, like, the Golden Gate Bridge. Like, one is rickety and barely holding on, but technically suffices. The other is a very famous and strong national landmark. Now, let me make one thing clear. That comparison, it does not hold in the case of comparing this to the previous Life is Strange games. Those are crap. They are more well-structured stories, arguably, but they are stories full of crap. Life is Strange 3 True Colors does have good love interest, a good plot, a villain that, while it's not handled the best, is not cartoonishly bad like Mark, or needlessly whatever the heck Life is Strange 2 was trying to be. Good Lord. What?
From what I'm seeing here, never mind, I found it. If you buy the standard edition for $60, you have to pay $12.99 for the deluxe update, which gives you the Wavelengths episode. So basically, if you buy both the standard edition and the deluxe upgrade separately instead of just buying the deluxe edition outright, you pay even more. So the pricing wise, this game is kind of a fucking hot mess. Go on.
Yeah, no, I think it's best, again, summed up by, wow, this is pretty good. Wait, that's it?
Yeah.
Because, no, the game is good, but it needed more. Like, it is legit that people were disappointed with a $60 price point, but even without that, the story feels like it leaps and bounds over critical information, or saves it for the last minute for some reason. I think the issue is that, unlike previous Life is Strange protagonists, Alex, for the most part, doesn't struggle with her mental health as much. So we don't get as much an arc for her coming to terms with what happened with her parents. Like, I guess it mainly happens at the end because her life is flashing before her eyes. Convenient for the audience, since this lets us know what her dad was up to. Like I've mentioned before, the whole, oh, the dad worked at Haven as a miner is like, really? That's convenient. And I thought, okay, maybe it would have been to add a layer to Jed's character as, you know, he adopted Gabe and Alex as, like, guilt, but apparently no. It's just the coincidence of all coincidences.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, yeah, we take down Jed and Typhon kind of off screen since, yeah, Jed breaks down crying, but the confession is told to us.
Yeah.
And I guess Diane gets her confession over an audio log. We get basically nothing from Ryan.
If you go for the Ryan ship, you get more, but I don't think it's much. In fact, go ahead. I'll watch that scene while you're talking. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Overall, okay. Now, to look at the positives, though. Alex, in fact, all these characters in general are probably the best well-acted cast we have gotten out of this series. Like, the expressions match on point. The character acting is on point. And the dialogue does feel like actual human beings being witty at times, as opposed to people definitely trying to be cool or hip with the kids in the first Life is Strange game, or clearly in with the politics in the second game. Like, no, this just feels like good natural dialogue. On another hand, it does feel like they are definitely trying to be the exact opposite of Life is Strange 2, which, for the most part, I can't blame them. Life is Strange 2 is hot garbage, but it does feel like they go just a mite too far in the opposite extremes. Because if Life is Strange 2 felt padded out, this feels like it is barely... This one feels like it is gasping for air. Yes, Pedro?
I'm seeing the Ryan ending right now, with the Ryan ship and shit like that. Ryan, instead of Steph, Ryan is the one who comes to your house, of course. He asks you to forgive him because, you know, like, he couldn't really believe that his dad was a criminal because, you know, like, which, again, reasonable, like I've said. Like, it's another thing, by the way. What the hell, Steph? Can you really not understand Ryan's position?
I feel like, again, there was story content missing where we would have suspected Jed at some point to at least build up better on this thing.
Yeah.
Granted, maybe it's just Steph's love for Alex talking.
Yeah.
Although I'm guessing that...
I'll be sure... Sorry.
Does that interaction still happen the way it does if you're shipping with Ryan?
Yes, well, he comes in and asks for forgiveness. You're talking about the Steph's reaction, right? I think so. Even still, though, Steph should not have reacted that way. She should have been more understanding of Ryan not immediately turning against his dad. I mean... I
think it fits in with our cut content theory, because... that scene feels like it plays off of something we were supposed to be building up to, but, well, since Jed being the bad guy wasn't even really a thought to the characters until the very end, when it was too late, we don't really have much to build up to that for the sake of the Uber twist.
Also, after he asks you for forgiveness, you know, I'm sorry I didn't take your side against my dad, you can choose to forgive him, saying, I can't, or I'll try. Okay, I appreciate giving me a choice, but like, at the same time, like, it's just one of those things where it's just like, imagine someone actually picking the "I don't forgive you" option here. Like, that would make Alex come across as such a petty bitch, because again, really, you cannot possibly understand why he would take his father aside. Come on. That being said, to give the game credit, it's a choice. You can just choose to forgive him immediately, to be fair. But even still, though, the fact that there's even an option to not forgive him feels like a bit like the writers stopped caring about Ryan as a character. I don't know. It feels a bit... I don't know. There's just something about it that feels off. Go on.
Again, what's here is good. Like, the LARPing chapter is a nice throwback to Final Fantasy. Well done, and I'll give him credit. I do find the fact that Jed's the secret bad guy in that chapter to be maybe a bit on the nose, but somewhat clever foreshadowing. Again, even though I would just guess that from the get-go, because Jed's kind of a Scooby-Doo villain when you get down to it. The over-nice guy who totally couldn't be the bad guy, except totally he was, and he would have got away with it, too, if it wasn't for us meddling kids.
Literally.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo! But yeah, no, I mean, again, it's frustrating because I can't even call the stories bad, because what they have technically works, but at the end of the day, there needed to be more. And I'll admit, some praises coming from the fact that compared to the previous Life is Strange games, this does feel like a godsend. Like, it's actually kind of incredible that the people who made arguably the most hokiest script of the bunch made the best script of the bunch, too. Because while I do like Before the Storm better than the first Life is Strange game, yeah, no, that dialogue. Oof.
Talk about the dialogue. How about the fucking god-awful voice acting in that game?
But Pedro, Rachel is the best actress ever.
I understand that it was made during the actors strike, but even still, though.
But were you not moved by the iconic scene of Rachel setting a forest on fire and screaming to the heavens?
No, I just found it laughable.
We all did. But yeah, no, to bring it back to this game, again, it's a good game. But unless you really want to support these people with as much money as possible, don't get it full price. Not even the deluxe version. Like, you know, get the deluxe version on a sale, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Because $60 worth, this ain't.
No, it is not.
You did good, but not that good. Take it away, Pedro.
Indeed. Oh, never mind. It's not on sale on Steam, but the deluxe edition of True Colors right now is on sale on the PlayStation Network, both PS4 and PS5 versions, with just one purchase. Only $20.99 for the deluxe edition. Yeah, that's a very, 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 very reasonable price but so yeah, get it there. If you have a PlayStation, you can get it there. I don't know if it's on sale on other platforms. On Steam, it isn't. Weird. But anyway. Yeah. I enjoyed it. But just barely. You know? Like people have been... Like we've all been saying, this game lacks in content, it lacks in elaboration. The characters, while nice and cozy, again, me and Joe have talked about this before, and I'll talk about it again. Aaron Hayes, the lead writer of Avatar: The Last Airbender and creator of Dragon Prince, said that quote that me and Joe like to quote a lot, which is, don't make your characters likable, make them complex. And that's exactly what the characters in this game needed. They needed to be more interesting, more complicated, more human, because yes, the characters are nice and cozy, but that's all they are. Like, the game lacks bite, it lacks depth, it like and like I said before, so much of the plot of the main plot is so many of the major plot elements are taken from Life is Strange 1, which feels like an over exaggerated attempt to please older fans, because I'm pretty sure even the most hard of Life is Strange 1 fans didn't want a pseudo remake. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure they just wanted something that moved the series forward. But in this game, like I said, this game is definitely a huge improvement. Like everybody's been saying, is a huge improvement over Life is Strange 2, but that's not really a feat worthy of applause. I could make a better story than Life is Strange 2. It's just it's not great. And for the price that's selling when it's not on sale. Right now it's on sale on PlayStation, not on Steam though. Yeah, no. $60 for this is just no.
As petty as it may seem, price points do tend to play a factor in how people will feel about a certain game every now and then.
Exactly, because if I'm going to pay $60, $60 is not exactly cheap for most people.
Mm-hmm.
For most people.
Look, there's a reason that a game has to work its ass off hard to justify the $60, heck, nowadays even sometimes $70 full-on price point.
Okay, let me use an example. Final Fantasy 16 on the PS5, it's a PS5 exclusive. At the time of this recording, it's going to get a PC port later, but as of right now, it's still on the PS5. It's $70, but I can tell you, in my opinion, worth every single penny. It has plenty of content. The gameplay is excellent. The storytelling is next level. It has my now new favorite Final Fantasy protagonist, in fact. But this game, on the other hand, no. This game does not...
Actually, put things into perspective, Pedro. That makes this game just $10 less than Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, and I can tell you that the two games are not comparable at all in terms of how much content they have.
I get that True Colors has better production values, but come on, Square. Were those production values... Did they really break the bank that much that you needed to charge $60?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, not great. And even then, aside from the price tag, it's just one of those cases where the game doesn't really come together as a whole, because like I've said, it has a nice enough but still kind of clumsy first episode with that Gabe's death. Despite being supposedly tragic, it's more laughable than anything, which kind of harms the story, let's face it. Episode 2 and 4 are so fucking short. Like I said, I could have finished episodes 2 and 4 in 20 minutes and I wanted to. And episode 3 is where the game peaks. And after that, the game just stumbles its way to its ending. I still have no idea how Alex survived that fall. She basically... Serena Cucumber said it best. After she gets shot in the face, falls through that mine shaft, hits multiple word boards in the end, bleeds a lot, and the game basically ignores that it even happened. It basically was just put in there for the sake of plot drama.
Well, again, it's to find out that her dad was one of the miners, and that adds...
Again, I didn't care for the dad, so that has little impact on me. Same thing with Jed as a villain.
It really feels like they just added that plot in just so we could have a "you killed my father" moment.
Basically, again, it goes by way too quick. There's way too much stuff crammed in the final 2 episodes.
One thing that would have been smart to do is just establish that, yes, both the parents are dead. At the very least, it would have given us anticipation of, hey, what might have killed them? But, no, we aren't truly introduced to the parent situation until, well, the final chapter.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, as for Jed as a villain, what a lackluster villain, because, I mean, he's better executed still than Mark Jefferson, but that's not saying much, because we still got barely enough time to get to know him. As a result, his betrayal doesn't, like his reveal as a villain doesn't really feel like I didn't feel like I was betrayed. I didn't feel heartbroken. I just my reaction was basically amounting to just okay.
Part of why I called it was only because I had a good idea of the formula on hand, since you know, usually, well, again, going off of Life is Strange 1, of course it's the person you least suspect.
Yeah, like let's think about it. There's so many things in this game that are direct parallel to Life is Strange 1. Typhon is basically the Prescotts, is a group of rich people that basically rule the town. Jed is, of course, Mark Jefferson, a mentor figure to the main character. There's also hell, even the twist, the way the villain twist is done is exactly like in Life is Strange 1. It's at night, in a big surprise. He even shoots someone, like Jefferson shoots Chloe, you know. The whole small mountain town setting, of course. The acoustic guitar-driven score, again, like in Life is Strange 1. This game is trying its...
Did Max play the guitar as well?
Yes, she did.
And Alex also
there's a scene in Life is Strange 1 where Max plays a guitar, an acoustic one of that, yeah. So again,
does Sean also know how to play the guitar? Because if so, we could totally get a band going of all these traumatized adults.
No, in Life is Strange 2 is Cass who plays the guitar. Yeah, it's so blatantly clear that Deck 9 really wanted to make this super familiar to Life is Strange fans. Like, see, it's like the first game that you loved so much. The problem is it kind of creates this situation where the game doesn't have much of an identity of its own. Like, what elements the game does have that are of its own, like Jove said, they're very, very thin in development. There's so little fleshing out of all of these characters and elements. Like I said, the characters being likable is not enough. They need to be complex to be engaging. You can't just have the characters be nice and kind. That doesn't automatically make them great. A lot of times characters are great because they're not always likable. Whereas this game is trying so hard to make sure it doesn't piss anybody off. Problem is, when you try so hard to please everybody, you end up pleasing nobody. So, yeah. True Colors, not a failure. Keep in mind, I'm not trying to say that this game is a failure, but it's definitely it only succeeds by barely, just barely. When Deck 9 finally starts working on Life is Strange 4, they'll finally be able to make a game that is not a victim to development issues. Hopefully. Like, I will give them one more chance to make a full-length, fully formed Life is Strange game. Because, like I said, this is the best one so far. So I will give Deck 9 one more chance. If the next game, once again, feels overly short and underdeveloped, then we'll know it's a Deck 9 issue. Because...
Which would kind of line up with the fact that Before the Storm was shorter.
Yeah, this game has the pandemic excuse, but the 4 will not have that excuse.
That is true. Well, at least I hope it will not end up having that excuse.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So,
but
yeah.
Hey, maybe the DLC has a little something nice and extra to flower the experience.
Yes, the next thing we're going to be doing, everybody, is the DLC episode Wavelengths, where we play as Steph. It's basically a short prequel story to when Steph first came to Haven and became the town's radio DJ, basically. So, tune in for that.
See you then.
Yep.